Okay, what's up, people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. As always, guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course, make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. If you haven't done already, check out the Elevating Trades Discord channel, completely free to join. Link to that in the description below and also at the top of the chat. You can join discussions, chat with other traders, chat with myself there. Join the community. Of course, if you want to find out more information regarding elevating traders, you can find all of that there, plus updates as well. So if you are interested, make sure you go check it out. Link in the description and also at the top of the chat. But guys, welcome back to another stream. Good morning to everyone. What is up, Dark Sean? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Yep. Some of the yen pairs have been pretty bullish this morning, prepping for a big drop in the next few days, possibly on Friday after GP news. Possibly. Yesterday got stopped out on Thursday at 10, but 1-2 positions after. Okay, nice. It's been a very choppy kind of ride for GJ and a lot of the yen pairs in general, not just pound yen. It's been a very, very choppy, like 3 weeks, to be honest, two weeks at least for the yen pairs. They haven't really gone anywhere. It's just been up and down, back and forth. So it's been difficult to find clean trends, which is essentially what I'm looking at for the yen pairs. I do think eventually we'll probably see some really nice momentum of them because the longer they consolidate, the bigger the breakout will be. So there probably will be some really nice trends coming with pound yen and the other yen pairs. But it has been a bit choppy in fairness. But what's up, Tashi? Good morning. Hope you're well. As always, guys, we'll go through the DXY USD side of things first. Take a look at the dollar, USD majors, gold, silver, go through some indices as well. If there are any particular requests, any particular time frames you want me to take a look at, let me know in the chat. And of course, we will take a look, see what's happening. But same old with the dollar, really. To be honest, nothing's really happened, to be honest, since we last spoke, apart from us kind of slowly heading to the downside a little bit further. We've been very, very corrective since the drop last week, as you would expect us to. It's kind of time for us to see a bit of retracement. Of course, the market could keep falling. If the market wants to keep falling, that will be the case. But at some point, I do expect to see a bit of a correction. I still expect to see a lot more downside, as I've been saying. My targets for the dollar are still all the way back down at the lows here, which is basically around the 101 area. So I still do see another big drop to be had with the dollar, but of course, I would expect to see some retracement beforehand, and then hopefully look to capitalize on some pullbacks and ride the momentum back into the lows. So very, very bearish on the USD. That is really my plan with the dollar for the next 2-3 weeks, or for as long as it takes, really, unless something drastic changes. The plan very much is to short the dollar, but of course, excuse me, I do need to see a decent pullback. Before I do get any entries, I have talked about a few daily areas which I'm keeping a close eye on. This one here, initially, 104.6. I also like the low here as well, around 105.6. And I also like this area here as well if we have a really deep pullback. Although I'm not too sure we will have a pullback that big there for the dollar. We're just looking a little bit too bearish to see a pullback that big. But something back into 104.6 into this area is a possibility. Even this area up here as well is definitely a possibility. If I do whip out the fib from that high there, where we had the drop from to the low, you can see it lines up pretty well with the 50% of the fib there. So that would be my preferred area for price to retrace to, but we'll see if we have enough momentum for us to get there. Of course, we could keep falling as well. So there's that. If that's the case, that's the case. But if we can get a pullback, great. Hopefully find some opportunities to ride dollar to the downside. But yeah, pretty bearish for myself for the DXY. In terms of Euro USD, very bullish on this one as well. Of course, the analysis is pretty much just inverse. If we go to the daily chart, massive move to the upside. I did mention this area as an area where we could see some downside from, and we're currently trading in that area right now. So if Euro USD wants to retrace, this is kind of an area which I would expect us to retrace from. Number one, the market is very, very stretched. We've had such a big move, so we're bound to find a bit of a top at some point. And coming back into a strong area of supply where we had a really strong move to the downside from. The fact that if I go to the lower time frames in the 4 hour, again, it's still pretty corrective there. We are seeing signs that the market slowing down and perhaps getting ready for a bit of a correction. So I do think that could be the next likely move for euro. Not really a move I'm looking to trade myself. I'm still very much focused with the buys, and the two areas I'm looking at is again this low here, similar to the level I drew on the DXY. And also this area here I like a lot as well. Price support, resistance there as well. I know prices respect this area quite a lot. And again, just relatively a healthy pullback there for Euro USD, given the fact that we had such a big move to the upside. If I do whip out the fib, more or less coming into the 0.618 there, which is always a healthy place and healthy retracement for the market. So it just depends how big of a pullback will we have there for euro. These are the two levels I am considering. So 1.075 more or less and 1.06 more or less is what I'm looking for the longs. But yeah, very, very bullish on euro. Bigger targets, kind of more or less back at the highs here, just below 1.11. So I do still see more upside. We've had multiple attempts of price trying to break through this price, and that's where I expect us to be drawn towards next. So it's just about finding pullbacks and riding that momentum in that direction. In terms of GBP/USD, kind of a similar outlook as well. Possibly could be seeing a push all the way back to the high there. If this kind of very sluggish bullish trend looks to continue, that could be where we're heading towards, especially if the dollar does see a drop to 101, then there's a good chance pound USD will see a push back to 1.34. This looks like a really nice V-shaped pattern to me, which again is a reversal pattern. So naturally expecting price to correct and continue higher. We have left behind some nice areas of confluence here just below us, which is 1.27. I like the retest of that high alongside the retest of these prior swing lows. So of course, one over there, second over there, third, and perhaps a fourth, if the market would be kind enough to retrace. At the moment, we're kind of just consolidating, maybe a slightly ascending channel there, but overall the market is just running out of steam a little bit. So again, potentially might be seeing a bit of retracement there for pound USD. And if we do, great. I'll keep an eye out for some longs. This is really the area I'm looking to buy from. I like the fact that we've broken structure as well very aggressively too. So the odds of seeing more upside for pound are pretty high, I would say. It's just now waiting for good opportunities to actually buy it. But that 1.27 level is definitely my area of confluence. Dollar CAD, this one hasn't really gone anywhere, to be honest. Just a lot of up and down. We did come back to retest the high there yesterday. I'm still holding this position from last week. It's a bit of an awkward one because we do have a lot of news coming up for USD and CAD. So could be seeing a lot of movement there for dollar CAD. But again, from a technical standpoint, the bias has been bearish for a while. We've come back into a really, really big level on the weekly chart at 1.46. So as you can see initially, first test there, huge rejection, second test there, another fairly big rejection, and we're there a third time. So naturally expecting a bit of downside there for dollar CAD and pretty bearish on USD as well. Of course, CAD has been extremely bearish as well, which is why dollar CAD hasn't really moved too much. But I do think CAD is eventually coming to a point where we're going to see a bit of strength, even if it's just a bit of a pullback, and we're going to see more weakness for CAD in the long term. But I am looking at essentially the pullback of this drop here that we had a few weeks ago. Really impulsive move, healthy pullback back into a recent area of resistance, as well testing that 0.5, 0.618 area of the fib. So a healthy retracement. I did say if you're looking to get involved with USD CAD, you're essentially looking for a double top here. You don't really want to try and find any shorts in that area because you're not going to really have a safe place for your stop loss. It's going to be at risk to get whipped out pretty easily. At least if you can have your stop loss here, of course, you're not immune to anything. You can still very much lose a trade, but at least the market has to work a little bit harder to hit your stop loss, and your stop loss is kind of away from all the noise. You know, this is where all the noise is. If you can have your stop loss above that or below that, it's just naturally going to be a safer place. Of course, you're not going to be immune to losing trades, but at least you'll be less acceptable to it. If the market is going to hit my stop loss, it's either number one, a really huge fake out, or number two, prices generally breaking to the upside. And of course, at that point, I don't want to be shorting the market anymore if that's the case. But yeah, still looking to see if we can hold 1.45, possibly for a move back down. Over to Aussie dollar. So this one I am still relatively bullish on, looking for a push to the upside. However, there's no kind of clean setup for me just yet. Again, you can see where we're trading. In fact, if I go to the weekly chart, we've come back into a massive swing low down here. So essentially, I've been looking for a bit of relief there for Aussie dollar for a push to the upside. And so far, we've had multiple attempts of trying to break through support, but they've all failed. So it does look like we probably will get that push to the upside. However, in terms of actually finding a decent buy, that's where the conundrum lies, because I don't really have a good setup yet. At the moment, this, if anything, just looks like consolidation, really. So just not really clear-cut price action. So I did say at the start of the week, if we could see a push to the upside, clear the highs here, at that point, we will actually have some bullish structure to follow. So you have the low there, the high low, and perhaps a higher high. And then, of course, I'll be looking at a retest of that high or retest of this high. It's very hypothetical, depends how we look at the time, but at least at that point, there's some bullish structure. So I can anticipate a higher low forming and some more upside from that point onwards. If this is forming a bit of a bottom here of that bearish move, and possibly price might be seeing some upside. And of course, I'm very bearish on the USD currency as well. So I'm not really looking to take anything besides from shorting USD, really. That's really the plan I have, even though Aussie is going to be weak. But that's really the move I'm looking for before I do start to look for some pullbacks. Other than that, I'm not really seeing much of an opportunity on the Aussie dollar. Maybe in the lower time frame, there might be some shorter term sells there as we continue with these little highs. So maybe on the 15-minute chart, might be some temporary sells you can look at. But in terms of swing bias, not really seeing much to work with. Same thing with the USD as well. As I've said, I wanted to see price create some new highs first past this point, because again, USD to me just looks like a market which is ranging. So not really interested in trading in that area there, to be honest. Again, if I expand to the higher time frames, look at the weekly chart, I can see we're at major support. So again, expecting to see a bit of a bounce, bit of relief there for the USD. So that's kind of where the bullish bias comes from, as well with the bearish bias from USD itself. So I'm expecting some upside there for the USD. But again, in terms of a clear-cut trade, I need some bullish structure to be in my favor first before I can actually start to look for any entries. So as I just mentioned, I need price to break through the highs. At that point, we've got the low, the high, the higher low, and the higher high, because this high low will be confirmed at that point. Then perhaps some pullbacks, maybe to retest this area here. Again, it depends on how everything situates when it does happen. But that's essentially what I'll be looking for in terms of a trade. Other than that, I'm not really seeing much from a swing point of view. Lower time frames, like I said, there might be some shorter term sells, probably on the 15-minute chart if you really want to take advantage of the trade, something like that could look nice. Perhaps another push to the upside, another sell back into the low. That might be a nice trade to look at for a day or two. In terms of swing bias, no kind of situation has developed just yet. In terms of gold, again, with this one still within the range, I did say if we can break to the upside, that would be a really nice bullish signal for gold. It looked like we had a big fake out on Monday. Yeah, Monday. Still looking at that as a fake out, because essentially it is priced, broke through the low, but broke back inside the range. So essentially fake to the downside there. But at the moment, price is struggling to break through resistance. I said if we can break the high now, that will give us the green light to say, okay, gold's bullish again. We're most likely going to push back to the high there at 29.55 and just look for some retest, 50-minute chart, 30-minute chart to really refine risk and increase that risk reward, and perhaps catch a retest back to the highs. So that would be a nice trade there for gold. Of course, at the moment, we're respecting the highs, so that's not really what you want to see unless you're looking to trade within the range. And of course, go ahead. But I'm also waiting for the breakout of this range for gold and then looking for opportunities in either direction. If we see a confirmed break to the downside, then I'm looking for a push back into this low here. If we see a confirmed break to the upside, by confirmed, that just means a break and retest, then I'm looking for a push back to the high here and probably higher as well, because probably just see the higher time frame trend continue. So that's really what I'm after there for gold, but inside the range here, I'll stay away. That's where you're going to get the most kind of speculation, and wouldn't really be interested to trade inside the range in the first place. In terms of silver, it's looking bullish. It's looking like we're trying to break to the upside here. Haven't got the full green light, but it looks like we're heading that direction. Again, my plan with silver has very much been I'm waiting for the resistance level here to break. If we do break to the upside, then most likely silver is going to make its way back to 34.86, which is the high up there. And it looks like price is breaking through that, especially with the daily candle close yesterday. So essentially what I want to see now is some decent structure on the 4-hour chart for some longs, perhaps the retest of the high, or maybe even the retest of the level itself. Something like that is what I'm looking for silver. And it would be great as well if you can create some new highs past that point, because then that'll tell me, okay, the trend is continuing. We just saw a new high, so now I can anticipate a new higher low forming for, again, another high. And that would probably take us back into the resistance there. So silver is slowly turning bullish. The breakout of the level is not clear cut yet. It's still kind of very up in the air a little bit. I like the daily candle closure yesterday. A lot of momentum there, strongly bullish. So the likeliness of us breaking to the upside, I would say, has increased. But in terms of the setup, not quite there yet. So still waiting for a bit more upside, then some retest, and hopefully find some longs. And yeah, targets will be back at the high there. So that is basically the analysis, the plan I have for a lot of the USD markets. Gold, silver, not really interested in gold because it's a little bit too smaller time frame for me. But silver, that looks like a nice buy, a nice swing trade. USD pairs, just basically looking to find some pullbacks on the dollar, and then looking to short the USD. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. What is up, people? Welcome to the stream. Sultan, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Brendan, CPI coming. Going to shape up the market? Yes, 100% indeed. That will be the case. Again, it's especially for the low time frames, it's not a bad time to potentially stay out the market, especially if you're going to have very tighter stop losses, because you're going to be more at risk to slippage and just unnecessary losses. But yeah, the CPI is going to cause a bit of ruckus, 100%. LFTJ, look at Aussie CHF. Okay, we'll go through that one as well. CC integrated, what is up? Hope good trades for everyone. That's what I like to hear. First then for short today will be around 192,500. Second, if it breaks above, we'll be at 193. Okay, I'll have a look at that. What is up, Lighton? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Quick recap: dollar CAD and Aussie. Okay, no problem. I'll drop to the hourly chart as well for you. Appreciate that, Ahmed. Appreciate that. If you guys are enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. I do really appreciate that. And of course, hit the bell if you want to see more of the streams. Kikana, what is up? Yes, we'll look at Euro Pound as well. Sultan, we'll look at Pound USD first. I'm just going to go take a look at Aussie CHF, and then we'll go through GJ. Of course, any other requests, just drop it down in the chat, and we will have a look. And of course, if there's any particular time frames you want me to take a look at, let me know. But yeah, Aussie CHF, still pretty bearish with this one. We've broken through a really big level of support, which of course is now going to be turning resistance. You can see multiple attempts of this, is the daily time frame, by the way, of price trying to break through this level. So as long as price stays below this, I do expect to see the bigger move for Aussie CHF back to the lows here. Again, the overall trend for this one is still very much bearish. So we have that kind of major confluence, which naturally as a swing trader is going to make me very bearish on the market, especially when we're breaking through support like such. So yeah, pretty bearish with Aussie CHF. Let me know what you're looking to do with this one. I think, yeah, in terms of shorts, I would wait for another pullback, perhaps to retest that zone. Same level on the daily chart, that would be a nice place for a short, and perhaps another lower high forming. The price action is a bit awkward there with Aussie CHF. It's not particularly clean, but I would still be pretty bearish with this one. It looks like we are forming some support here and holding on to it very well. So naturally, it looks like we might see some upside. If we do have a strong break, then there could be some nice retest if that does happen. But at the moment, I'll be looking at some retests. Like I said, we've got that massive daily level there, which could definitely send the market a lot lower if we do see a successful retest of that zone. So a pullback and some shorts do look good. I'm pretty bearish on this one. Still do have a small position, which I'm leaving to run back into the lows there. My stop loss is still trailed just above the highs here. So I don't really have anywhere else to trail it yet. So once I do start to see more structure in my favor, then I will look to trail it and bring it down. But yeah, in terms of an opportunity, this one makes sense to me. Or if price can break through the low, of course, then perhaps some retests shortly afterwards will look good. But altogether, obviously, Chef is still very bearish, and I would expect a lot more downside for this one. Back to the wick low at 0.53652. So that's my expectation there for Aussie CHF. In terms of GJ, let's have a look, see of this one on the 5-minute. What is this one cooking up right now? We have seen a bit of bullish momentum for the yen pairs. So yeah, GJ has been pushing to the upside pretty hard as well. Looks like we are coming back into the high there on the left. Dark Sean, you said you're looking to shorts, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, first attempt for a short today will be around 192.5. So I'm guessing that's pretty much the high. Yep. And then second attempt will be at 193 area, hoping for at least 150 pip drop. 193 is around there-ish. So yeah, we're coming back into a major high again for pound yen. It looks like, I'm just gonna look at the daily chart real quick. It looks like essentially price has just respected support here. We had a major swing low here, big reaction to the upside, and price has had a few attempts trying to break through, and essentially it's failed. So now we're coming back into resistance. Now it's up to resistance to see if we can reject price and send price back down again. Altogether, price action has been very, very choppy. But yeah, I kind of like the areas which you're looking to short from, because essentially if price isn't going to hold that, then most likely we are going to push back to the high here on the left. Of course, you're looking to play this on the 5-minute chart, but essentially the same levels of resistance. If we can hold that, we'll probably see a reaction. If not, then this is the area you're looking at. But yeah, from pound yen, it's just been a very choppy one. But I like the reaction that we had from this 192.5 area. Very, very aggressive sell-off. And you're looking for about 150 pips, which would take us to about here-ish. Yeah, which is probably about halfway down, I would say, which makes the most sense. They're not looking for anything too crazy. I think that's pretty reasonable expectation there for pound yen as well. So yeah, coming back to some nice levels. If we can respect them, I think there's some nice areas to short from. I think 150 pips is you're not asking too much there from the market. Possibly could see a full swing back there for 350 pips, but you're giving the market a lot of excuses to potentially turn against you if you target all the way down there. Of course, yeah, I'm sure you have expectation of where you expect your trades to get to. So yeah, 150 I think is pretty reasonable as well, especially how the market's moving. It's not necessarily trending, so you're not necessarily following momentum. You're more just looking to short highs and buy lows, really. So yeah, I like the entry placement coming back into significant levels of resistance. If we can successfully reject that, then I think 150 pips is a reasonable expectation there for pound yen from either one of those levels as well. Okay, so we'll go through dollar CAD and Aussie dollar next. We'll take a look at euro pound and pound USD. What's up, Indumiso? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Welcome, Sunny. Yes, we'll take a look at gold as well. So dollar CAD with this one, again, it hasn't been moving too well, just kind of up and down all over the place. I still do have my excuse me, I still do have my entry from last week Tuesday, I believe. Was it Tuesday? Yeah, last week Tuesday. So I'm still sitting in that one. There's nothing really for me to do apart from just manage the trade accordingly. Still respecting my zone, which is the most important thing, because that's the level I've shorted from. So as long as price can respect that level, the trade is still technically valid. And I'm still looking for a big sell-off for this one. I'm still very bearish in USD, still expecting a big move down. Of course, CAD's been very weak as well, which is why it's been a bit of a nuisance. But we're still holding onto a key area, and I'm essentially still looking for the pullback of this big move here for another drop into the low. So as long as dollar CAD can respect that area, which so far it's doing, I am pretty bearish on. In terms of the hourly chart, it's a little bit more difficult to trade this one. In terms of actually getting a decent trade here for the hourly chart, I would suggest kind of waiting for price to push right back to the high here and looking for entries there. That way you can get a stop loss above the high, like around here, pretty much where my stop loss is, and get a safe position, because you're right at the top, your stop loss is right at the highs. That way, number one, you're maximizing your reward if the trade does play out, and you position yourself right at the top as well. So if the price does hit your stop loss, it's most likely price is getting ready for a breakout. And if it is a fake out, you can always look to re-enter in a similar area as well. So for dollar CAD, in terms of the hourly chart, we have seen a bit of a bullish trend form, but in terms of the shorts, it would make sense if we're right at the top so we can get nice stop loss placement. At the moment, yeah, I'm not really seeing a good opportunity unless we see a bit of a bearish trend form. Then perhaps we can talk about some lower highs maybe later in the week. Something like this could be a nice little trade. Maybe we've got one high there, second one there, and the third one. That might be a nice trade potentially by Friday or something, or Thursday. Yeah, Thursday's tomorrow. Maybe we got a lot of news, so potentially that could form. But yeah, and if you're looking to follow some structure, we need to wait for some structure to develop. So some lower lows and lower highs for shorts. Then yeah, we can speak about some retest opportunities. If you're looking to try and catch the high, then yeah, I would wait to see if price can push a little bit higher first before shorting. And if you're looking to long, I'll wait for price to break through that zone completely, then look for opportunities on the retest. But yeah, that's kind of what I've got going there for USD CAD in the lower time frames. Let me just clean it up. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at for dollar CAD in the lower time frames. In terms of Aussie dollar, which of course another USD pair, which naturally I do have a pretty bullish bias to, because I'm looking to shorter USD. In terms of opportunities for this one, again, from a swing point of view, 4-hour point of view, I'll go take a look at the hourly in a second. But this is basically what I'm looking at from a 4-hour perspective, because I'm looking to follow some bullish structure. We've had a big push to the upside, lovely pullback. Need to see another high created for this to be confirmed as a higher low, because for all we know, we might continue falling, and that wouldn't be a higher low. So I need price to create new highs past this point, and that will confirm things as a higher low. And then I'll be looking for some corrections and then another move to the upside. So that's my swing bias plan. In terms of intraday and smaller, shorter term opportunities, I did mention earlier there might be a nice trade in the 15-minute chart, or at least the 30-minute chart. Something like this, if you can push back into the high, that might be a nice place for a sell. Again, it depends how we react there. Do we see rejection, bearish engulfer candle, wicks? If we can see that type of rejection in this area, I think that would be a nice place for a short, simply to try and take the trade back into the low. 0.626, I think, would be a healthy target for the trade. Of course, you can see on the left, we've got one high, second one, and perhaps a third one could form. And of course, you expect us to return back to the low. So I think that would be a nice little trade, keeping things relatively simple. Of course, we do have a big news event today for USD. So you probably won't even get that trade opportunity till after the news anyway. So we'll see how price reacts to the news, what we get. But essentially, that's what I would be looking at from a technical point of view. But the news could very much change things very, very quickly. So keep that in mind. But I do like this opportunity here for USD. Again, I'm still very bullish on this one, so I would be looking for buys as a whole. But there might be some short-term sells we can take advantage of if the setup does form. So yeah, from an intraday point of view, that's kind of what I'll be looking at there for Aussie dollar. Okay, so we'll take a look at Euro pound, pound USD, and gold next. Okay, we'll take a look at dollar yen as well. We'll go through a bunch of yen pairs together. All CAD pairs. All CAD pairs are going up. USD are going down. Why is dollar CAD not going down? Yeah, because CAD pairs are going up. It's because CAD's been exceptionally weak as well. CAD's been very, very weak. USD's been very weak as well, and they've kind of cancelled each other out, to be honest. Again, correlation isn't an absolute. It's a generalization of different markets. USD CAD, Aussie dollar, Euro USD, pound USD, those USD pairs tend to move in the same direction because USD, is the main kind of governing currency. If USD is strong, it's normally going to dictate the other USD pairs with it. If USD is weak, it's going to dictate the direction of other USD pairs. However, the other currencies USD's partner with will play a vital role as well. And for dollar CAD's case, CAD has been very, very weak too. So it's just been canceling each other out and they haven't really moved anywhere. As soon as one becomes a little bit strong, then you will see a reaction where the dollar CAD continues up with the other CAD pairs or dollar CAD moves down with other USD pairs. Excuse me. But yeah, essentially CAD has been just weak, so they've cancelled each other out. Anyway, let's take a look at is it Euro Pound next? Okay, let's go for Euro Pound. So Euro GBP, big push to the upside for this one recently. Of course, Euro has been pretty strong, Pound not so much. Overall, there's still a pretty bearish trend at play here on the higher time frame, still connecting the lower highs, as we can see. So I'm looking to see what we can do as we approach this trend line and approach that resistance on the left. This could be an area which price gets to, starts to react with, and possibly form the next lower high and possibly another big drop to the downside. So I think we're coming to a really nice area for a short. Again, we're not quite there yet. Still need to see price develop a little bit further, push a little bit higher, tag the trend line as well. So I do want to see kind of price slow down, become a bit more corrective, test the trend line as such, see some rejection there, and that could end up being a really nice short for Euro Pound and possibly a big swing back to the lows there if you really want to push the trade. But you can see previously over here, we had a pretty big move and then price started to become very corrective. And eventually we got that sell. That's kind of what I want to see here, which is kind of what we're starting to see anyway. Price is becoming a lot more corrective now, certainly after that strong bullish move that started everything off. So perhaps we do get that sell, but of course we need to monitor price as it gets there and make sure we're seeing that kind of characteristics form. But in terms of an area of confluence, 0.846 looks really, really good. If price is going to continue this bearish trend, you would expect that area to hold. If price does break through, then perhaps we're reversing and we can probably speak about some longs if that's the case. But for now, it's still pretty bearish, looking for that level to hold. Not quite there yet, so still want to see a bit more upside for Euro Pound. And if you do get a strong rejection, we could see a big swing all the way back to the swing low at 0.82256. So that's really what I'm keeping a close eye on there for Euro Pound. In terms of Pound USD, and then we'll take a look at gold and dollar yen. No problem, lights, and happy to help. Yes, Pound CAD will get, we'll take a look at as well, and Pound CHF as well, Godfrey, no problem. What's up, Vanesto? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Okay, so Pound USD. So yeah, Pound USD, I really like this pair. It's a pair which is on my watch list. I'm getting ready for some longs for this one. Just waiting for a healthy pullback really before looking to buy it. In terms of where I'm looking to get involved, it very much is down at this low here at 1.27. I really like the high lows price has been building up. So of course, essentially you can include this one here as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, and now looking for number 5. We've broken through some structure here on the left. This was our last major high, which gave us a really big push to the downside. Price has gone and broken through that. So that bearish structure has been completely invalidated. And now I'm just focused on this bullish move here, looking to continue that as long as structure remains bullish. So looking for a pullback here for Pound USD. That's my area of confluence and essentially looking to take it back to highs. You can see Pound USD starting to become a little bit more tired. You can see we're starting to consolidate, run out of momentum a little bit. So I do think a pullback is likely. Even you can see on the left here where we're coming into a really strong area of supply, brief consolidation, big drop to the downside. And now we're coming back into that area, especially when the market's a bit stretched as well. So I'm anticipating some retracements there for Pound. The bigger move potentially could be all the way back to the high there at 1.342. So that's potentially where we could be working towards. It's always nice to keep in mind where potentially the market could be going in the back of your head. You don't necessarily have to look to target that high in one move, of course not. But it's nice to know that, okay, if we are going to push there, then I can be a bit more aggressive with my targets if I want to, if that does, if price does eventually get there. But yeah, for now, looking for a bit of a pullback and some longs from 1.27. Okay, so we'll go take a look at pound, not pound CAD, sorry. We will take a look at pound CAD, but first we'll go through gold and then we'll go through pound CAD. Okay, so gold. So yeah, gold, I'm still pretty bullish with gold as a whole in general. However, we are still stuck in the consolidation, so we can't really look to do too much. I did say for the past week or so, as long as price kind of stays in the consolidation, I'm not really interested to do anything with gold. But if we can catch a breakout, I do think perhaps maybe on the 30 or 15-minute charts, there could be some nice entries for a nice break and retest to right gold back to the high, to the swing high at 29.55, or back to the low at 28.40 if we do see a sufficient break to the downside. We did see an attempt to break to the downside at the start of the week. However, it did turn into a bit of a fake out. Price closed bullish right back above. And yeah, that made things very, very awkward there for gold. But if that is a fake out, perhaps we are getting ready to break to the upside. So if that's the case, kind of get ready for a break of the high. And then, yeah, looking for retests and pullbacks and then ride it back to 29.55. So that's kind of the play I'm looking at for gold. But as long as we stay in the range, I'm not really interested in the price action, to be honest. Okay, so we'll go through dollar yen next. We'll take a look at pound CAD and pound CHF as well. Sunny, how you say this in trading? How you brain ready again for analysis? Again after taking a trade. Good question. Well, it comes with the job, really. To be honest, if you are going to trade, especially actively in the markets, then you're going to have to get used to looking at the markets a lot of the time, and not essentially. It's not about getting tired essentially, because if you do enjoy trading, if you do enjoy analysis, which I do clearly, it's not really tiring, especially when um, when you do it, you don't actually feel like you, it's not essentially like you're doing work. It's essentially like you're kind of, it's hard to describe. Basically, what I'm trying to say, it's not a tiring process because I enjoy it at the end of the day. So, yeah, I just enjoy it. So that's why I don't get tired. But in terms of trading, again, it's just the process is what trading is all about. Taking trades, managing trades, exiting trades, re-entering trades. All of that is a process, and you create a process for yourself. And you have to follow that process. There will be times where potentially you will get fatigued, as everyone does, even if you enjoy it. You know, even if you enjoy it more than me, you'll still get fatigued as well. So there will be times where potentially you need to take some time off from the markets, as every profession you would take some time from whatever you're doing. But at the end of the day, it's in the job description. You have to take your positions, you have to manage your positions, and do it all over again. It's all part of the job description, really. But yeah, if you do find yourself getting fatigued, then it's probably time to take a bit of a break. But if you really do enjoy it, you probably won't get that fatigued very easily. Of course, maybe at some point you will, but like I said, it's part of the job description. In terms of pound CAD, so this one, of course, very, very bullish. CAD's been so weak. And I did say at the start of the week that I was looking for a retest of this level, but it does not look like price is going to get to that level. Well, at least this week anyway. Maybe we do eventually come back to retest that level. So I'm not going to rule that out completely. That's still an area which I would love to long from if price can pull back and test that level. But because we're so far away, it's difficult to anticipate a bit of a pullback there, at least for this week anyway. So with pound CAD, there's little to say apart from I'm expecting price to retrace. The market's been so bullish, it's just been climbing, climbing, climbing. We are a little bit more corrective now. So again, we're coming up to a point where I'm expecting a high to form and a push back down. But it's difficult to say where and when, because as soon as I look to the left, there is no level for me to to reference to use to my advantage, unless I'm going all the way back to here, which is back in 2016. And even then, I probably want price to push a little bit higher, 1.90823. We're not even quite there yet. So we're not really in any significant level. And the level which we were trading for a while, we've just broken through. If I drag that across there as well, you can see we smashed through that there too. So what I'm trying to get at is that pound CAD is kind of in the middle of nowhere right now. It's not really here or there. So I'm kind of leaving price alone. I'm expecting price to retrace, as any market which is very overextended would do eventually, but I don't really have a level to short from or base a trade from. So I would be very, very careful shorting pound CAD, because it's very, very easy to jump into a short and just get stopped out and then see price move in your favor, as I would imagine a lot of people would have done over here. Stop losses above there, they would have got taken out. Stop losses above there, they would have got taken out. Stop losses above there, so on and so forth. And there'll be some more stop losses above here, which I wouldn't be surprised if they get taken out as well. So because there's nothing to reference, it's difficult to short this one. Although, yes, you would expect retracement. Where from, though? It might be from here. It might be from 50 pips a bit higher. It might be from 100 pips higher as well. At least for the buys for pound CAD, I've got a solid level here, which, again, not guaranteed to hold, but at least I can have something to reference and have something to base a trade from, if I can see a pullback to this area. So overall, very bullish market. Expecting retracement, but don't really have a setup to trade just yet. For pound CAD, I'll go through pound CHF, and then we'll go through some of the yen pairs, so dollar yen and the rest of the yen pairs together. Interesting 5-minute candle falling GJ, big wick at the top with price giving me double top, doji engulfing pattern arm going in. Okay, I'll have a look see at that. No problem, happy to help. Usually wins don't get you fatigued sooner. Community like this one will keep you interested, very likely to get fatigued. You don't have to be alone. Very, very true. That's a good point as well, Lighton. That's a good point as well. A good community can help you feel engaged and not like you're just on an island somewhere trading. But yeah, I think, again, if things are not going your way, it's easier to get fatigued, of course. But you just got to treat it like a marathon. Trading is not a sprint. It never has been a sprint. People that try sprint trading are very, very, very likely to blow up very quickly at some stage as well. If you're going to be here for the long game, then you got to treat it like a long game as well. And with every profession, you got to ease into it and eventually get better over time. So if you really enjoy trading, you make it part of your routine. You can find time to train, find time to learn, and you enjoy it as well. You enjoy it as well as you go down the rabbit hole. Of course, if you are getting fatigued and you're getting a bit sick of things, then yeah, maybe a week off the markets will do you good, and you come back fresh the next week. If that's the case, then I don't see any reason not to do that. So yeah, with pound CHF, it's a very awkward one, pound CHF, I'm not gonna lie. It's a big range here, and it looks like price is breaking to the upside, especially with yesterday's candle, but I'm not completely sold. Pound CHF is a very choppy pair. And again, when I want to identify a breakout, I want it to be clean. I want there to be a lot of momentum. So when I look at the chart, it's like, okay, that is definitely a breakout. I'm not kind of scratching my head and squinting to see if that's a breakout, which is kind of what I'm doing here. It looks as if price is trying to break to the upside, but it's not clear, it's not clean. Yeah, I'd want price to potentially create new highs first, and then perhaps look for a retest for a higher low. That could be a nice trade, because essentially we've had a range here for pound CHF. If this is a breakout, then most likely we're coming back to the next high, which is up there at 1.16. So that would be my bullish bias there for pound CHF. If this is a fake out, then of course I'm expecting price to hold the range and swing back to the low. So either which way, there could be a nice trade idea there for pound CHF, but it's just not clear what price is doing. It looks as if price is breaking out, but I wouldn't have an opportunity to trade that if I drop to the 4-hour chart. Look how messy this is. Yeah, it's not looking particularly clean. So I would like to see a bit more emphasis on the break to the upside and perhaps some pullbacks afterwards. Maybe I can get a clean retest or a cleaner retest, put some stop losses below the low and potentially capitalize on a nice swing to the upside. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm waiting for pound CHF. It looks as if we're breaking to the upside, so kind of get ready for some buys, but it's just not clean or set up quite right yet. But if we do break to the upside, then this is the next big level to target around 1.16. Okay, so we'll go through. Okay, we'll take a look at GJ. Junior Blanco. Okay, we'll take a look at Aussie dollar, then we'll go through the yen pairs. Okay, so GJ, you said. Ooh, I just typed GJ there. You said there was a nice rejection. Darkshon. Interesting candle form the 5-minute. Okay, this candle here. Okay, so you're looking for potentially a double top around here. If I'm not mistaken, price gives me double top, doji, and golden candle pattern look to short. Okay, makes sense. I mean, we're more or less at that level. So, price is more or less rejecting that 92,500 area. I think a double top would look nice as well, especially if you can get a nice bearish engulfing after, as you mentioned. But yeah, more or less in that area, I think keep an eye for some shorts, and you could be looking at a decent trade opportunity. But if you do break higher, then of course you do have your 93 area there to short from as well. So yeah, I do like what I'm seeing there on the 5-minute coming back into a major high, and I think 150 pips is not too much to ask. So yeah, keep an eye on that one as well. Okay, let me go through Aussie dollar, then we'll take a look at the yen pairs. So Aussie dollar, as I mentioned, don't really have a setup for this one in terms of a swing trade. Basically, where we're situated, I'm looking for a buy here because, of course, coming to major support, looking to see if there's a bit of relief there for Aussie dollar to the upside. So I'm interested in some bullish swings. And of course, I'm very bearish on the USD currency itself. So any pair kind of partnered with USD, I'm always looking to short USD for now. So in terms of a buy, I've been saying I want to see price break to the upside here. I know it's a big kind of move I'm looking for, but if I can get something like that, that means at that point in time, I would have some bullish structure here. The low, high, higher low, higher high. Then I can look for a pullback and try and catch some buys on a higher low, and that would be a trade that would interest me and fit my plan. At the moment, Aussie dollar kind of looks like a bit of a range here. Neither here nor there. So in terms of a swing trade, I don't really have much to say. In terms of like a day trade, an intraday trade, I did point out some sells on the lower time frames. I think this could be a nice area for a short, particularly maybe on the 30 or the 50-minute chart. You can see some lovely bearish structure here. Push, pull back, push. Perhaps this is another correction. It is very corrective in nature, especially compared to the impulse move we just had. So it looks like price is correcting itself, or perhaps another drop to the downside. So coming into 0.63, I think that would be a nice space for a short, nice double top into that area, and a nice sell off back into the lows. I think that would be a nice idea. So from a intraday point of view, I think there's a nice short-term trade to look at there. In terms of a bigger swing there for Aussie dollar, like I said, I am bullish. I just don't have a setup quite yet to trade this one. So yeah, just staying pretty patient for now, and yeah, and hoping we can see some momentum. We do have CPI today. Maybe that can speed things up, but yeah, from a swing point of view, don't really have a setup just yet. So hopefully that made sense. Okay, we'll go through the yen pairs now. We'll start with dollar yen for lighten, but we'll go through all of them and see what's happening. I'm still very interested in the yen pairs. Euro yen is at an area where it's kind of make or break as well. So I'm keeping close eye on Euro yen. Possibly could see some shorts maybe this afternoon for Euro yen. So got to keep a close eye on that one. Sunny wick breakout versus candle break body breakout for a structure, which is more significant. Always candlestick body close, because a wick is always a representation of the range of how much prices fluctuated within a given time period. So of course, for an hourly candle. Within 1 hour, price, of course, has ranged between the wick high and the wick low of the candle. The body is when we've opened and when we close. So that's when price has actually managed to move and sustain that movement. So if price had a big wick, like for example, like this candle here in the 4-hour chart, we tried to break to the upside, past resistance here, but essentially we failed. We closed and the body closed there. So it's a sign that says, okay, price tried to go there, but it couldn't sustain that price. If we close above a level, close below, there's a sign that price has successfully managed to, break that level or break that support and sustain that price as well. So bodies are always more significant. Wicks I always view in terms of rejection. I rarely view wicks as a sign of continuation. Sometimes in particular situations, wicks can mean continuation. Like sometimes I look for wicks to fill, but most of the time, especially at levels of support and resistance, wicks always represent to me rejection. So the more wicks, the more exaggerated wicks I see, the better, and I'm expecting price to turn around. If, of course, price then closes below a level, well, that indicates a breakout, and I'll be looking for continuation of that breakout. Ben, good morning. Hope you're well. If you can get back above the resistance BTC, looking for a move to test the wicks back at 90K-ish. What do you think? Let me have a look, see. I haven't really been keeping an eye on Bitcoin. Okay, I'm still looking to see if we can get back to 74, 73K, because essentially we haven't managed to break above this area. So I'm looking for us to see a bit more downside back into 73K. That's still my expectation for Bitcoin. Back to resistance to test the wicks back up 94. Okay, so you're looking for us to come back into this area. So all of the wicks there, I assume. Okay, 4-hour chart. Okay, so you're looking for us to come back and test this level here around 90K. Possibly. I think that would be a nice place for a short, to be honest, if we were to get there again. If price was to move there, that would be a nice place to short, because of course, shorting now doesn't make too much sense there for Bitcoin, as we are trading at support and respecting it pretty well, actually. So if you're looking to short Bitcoin, I think a push to 90K would make the most sense, certainly in terms of stop loss placement as well. And 90K is still proving to be a very steady level of support, which of course will now be turned resistance, multiple rejections of that area. Perhaps it will hold as resistance again. It did pretty well over there and had a nice reaction to the downside. So I think shorts around 90K look good. If you break above 90K, then perhaps we might be seeing a lot more upside there for Bitcoin. Looking for a bit of relief, expecting a lower high on the higher time frames. Okay, so you're looking for price to push up, form a lower high, then potentially sell off again. Yeah, I can see that happening as well. Again, my expectation really for Bitcoin is a move back to 73, 74K. We might pull up first before that happens, or we might just fall over. That'll be up to Bitcoin. But I'm looking to see how we react with the lows here, and perhaps we might get a bounce and see a push to the upside. So that's really what I'm interested there for Bitcoin. But I have to say, yeah, it's not looking good for cryptocurrencies at the moment. So I think the likely move is still more downside. Even if we do see a nice push up, it's probably just going to be form a lower high, as you mentioned, and price probably going to come back down. Corrected breakout of a range versus impulsive breakout of a range, which is better in how it looks like and what's significant in terms of price action point of view. Well, a corrected breakout of a range is a sign that price has just managed to break out of a range, but hasn't done it with a lot of momentum. So again, if you look at the kind of what a range represents, a range represents market inability to move in a direction. The market is just moving up and down, respecting highs, respecting lows, isn't really going anywhere. So essentially, there's not a lot of momentum in the market. There might be a bit of momentum between the levels, but as a whole, the market is very flat, very sideways. So if you were to break out the range correctively, well, it kind of defeats the purpose, because the whole point of price breaking out of a range is the indication that, okay, momentum is now back in the markets, and now potentially could see price relieve itself. So essentially, in terms of a healthy breakout, you really want to see impulsive momentum. You want to see a big breakout. Those are the type of breakouts you want to follow. Because especially if you're looking to trade breakouts, whether you're looking to buy the breakout or looking for the retest of it, if you just ask yourself a question, would you rather look to follow a corrective breakout or a breakout of a lot of momentum? You'd always naturally pick a breakout of a lot of momentum, because if you're seeing a lot of momentum, it indicates that there are a lot of bigger fish in the markets, um, buying into a particular market and causing that big reaction. Because of course, us retail traders are not going to cause big moves, are we? It will be the bigger plays in the market that cause that momentum. So if you see a lot of momentum in a particular direction, especially after a breakout, well, that's a big indication that we're probably likely to continue that direction, as long as we don't break back in, of course. So that is something that you look to follow and look for a retest of. If it's corrective, it's a sign that, okay, you didn't see much momentum. The likelihood of us breaking back inside the range is just a lot higher, and the chance of it being a fake out is a lot higher as well. So it doesn't become as attractive to trade. So yeah, I would avoid that. I'm always looking for strong breaks of levels. No, I haven't looked at the US indices. I'll go through USD JPY first. I'll go through some indices shortly after. So yeah, in terms of USD JPY, I'm pretty bearish on this one. I'm still looking for a big move all the way back down into support here at 140. That's still my expectation of dollar yen, especially since we have broken through some structure here on the left, which has been great, because now that means that the chance of this happening is pretty slim. Of course, never say never, but if the market was going to continue this bullish structure back to the highs there at what was that, 162, 161, we probably would have respected that higher low. The fact that we have broken through is a sign that we probably aren't going to see that trend anymore, and most likely probably come back and retest that 140 level of support. So I do still see more downside for dollar yen. Now it's just about how we pull back, because the market has been pretty consistent with these lower highs here. So perhaps we just keep the lower highs to a minimal, and perhaps retest support here and potentially sell off again. So that could happen there for dollar yen. Or we might have a slightly bigger pullback, since we have taken out some major lows here on the left, form a lower high somewhere, perhaps in a kind of head and shoulder fashion, left head, right shoulder, and then get the sell. So that'll be up to dollar yen. But in terms of direction, I'm expecting a big sell. It's just about how far we pull back, really. At the moment, there is this big level of resistance running through the market. I'm looking to see if potentially we might come back and retest and hold that level. So I'm looking to see if we can pull back a little bit deeper into the 151 area. So break above this level there. And we do have some nice trendline confidence running through the market as well. So as long as this trend line stays intact, that daily level stays intact as well, I'm looking for something like this, perhaps the retest of this area here too. And that's kind of where my confidence does lie for dollar yen. So if you can come back, retest that area, which is around 151, 500, we'll call it. I do think there's a good chance a lower high could form and possibly a nice short, at least back into the low here. 140 doesn't have to be our target. Always hold positions to run there. But the probability of us seeing a continuation, another lower high in this trend, I would say is pretty high. So, yeah, looking for another retest and some shorts there. And that's what I'm looking at from a 4-hour perspective. Hourly chart, I'll probably say some buys look good now. Looks like we've kind of reversed outside of this corrective move. Possibly some buys like such. Might be good from a lower time frame perspective. Of course, I'm more focused on the shorts, but something like that in the lower time frames could look good if you are interested in the lower time frames there for dollar yen. But I think the bigger moves to the downside, so I'm only focused on the shorts for now. Okay, I'll go through the indices next. You're still in the Aussie CHF. Yes, I'm still in the Aussie CHF position. Again, I've closed most of the profits a while ago. Actually, I've only got about 20% of my original position running. I closed most of it at the low here. So I only have a small proportion of the trade left. But yeah, I'm still holding that trade back to the low here. The plan for the trade was to take most of my profit there, and if the trend did continue or looked as if it was going to continue, then I'll leave a small portion of the trade to run to see if we can get it to the lows there, just so I can maximize my winners a little bit more. And yeah, there's been a bit of a pullback. I've trailed my stop loss above the highs there. There's no indication of a reversal just yet here with Aussie CHF, so I don't see a reason why I should close the rest of the position. So yeah, still bearish and still expecting more downside. Now that we have broken through some major support here on the left as well, I do expect us to keep falling, perhaps maybe even retest the level again. But my bias is still very bearish and still expecting a drop into that low. Again, taking into consideration that the overall trend is still very short, still very bearish. I think there's a good chance we do eventually get to the low there. So yeah, that's my expectation with Aussie CHF. In terms of the US indices, of course, it's been a little bit dramatic for the indices. Big sells for them. US 100 smash through support like it's not there. So I am pretty bearish here for about to say Aussie CHF. I am bearish for Aussie CHF, but I'm pretty bearish for NAS. Breaking out the range like that is not necessarily a bullish sign. So I would expect more downside here for NAS, and I would be looking for a bit of a correction for a lower high and a drop. That's really what I'm looking at for NAS. So, of course, because we have such a bearish move, I do think it's probably time to see a bit of retracement. So there might be some nice buys on the lower time frame for the indices over the next day or two or three, or however long it pulls back for. But I think the bigger move is still to the downside for the indices, at least for NAS 100 here. And at least, again, looking to target wherever we pull back from. If this is going to be the high or low, then naturally that would be a nice target for the trade. But yeah, pretty bearish on NAS here. It's a strong breakout of the range. It's not like we kind of half-heartedly had a breakout, which initially we were looking as if that was going to be more of a kind of corrective breakout. But especially after, was that Monday? Yeah, Monday's move. Yeah, it's made me pretty bearish here for NAS. Looking at S&P, it's a similar situation as well. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, strong breakout as well. So S&P is the same situation. Looking for a correction and a lower high and a push down. Again, I'm still looking at this as a correction. I'm not looking for anything crazy here. For the indices, the last major correction we had was in 2022, which was this move here. Of course, we've seen a lot smaller corrections as time has gone on. I wonder if we're going to do something similar to that, maybe not as big, but similar to that. We have a correction for maybe a few weeks, and then potentially we might see another big swing. If you look at the overall kind of spectrum of the S&P, I think it's safe to say that we are due a bigger correction. The market has been in this kind of impulsive move for a while, so I think we're due a correction naturally. And now that we've had a break of key support, I expect it to come into fruition. So yeah, pretty bearish there for S&P as well. US 30 is only just broken through support, so I'm not as bearish with this one, but taking into consideration that S&P is broken through key support, NAS is broken through key support, there's a strong chance that US 30 is going to sell off as well. Of course, this one, really nice double top there at the high. Not a bullish indication, is it? As well. So it's not looking too hot there for US 30. Because we haven't really had a big break of support, I wouldn't be looking at a retest of this level. I'd want price to fall a lot more, similar to what NAS has done, similar to what S&P has done before I would suggest the breaking retest of that level. So for now, I would be looking at a much deeper pullback there for US 30, perhaps coming back into this area, brief consolidation there, kind of lining up with this resistance there as well. That could end up being a nice space for a short. So you've got the double top, lower high, and then a continuation. So around 43K might be a nice place for a short there for US 30. If we had a bigger breakout, then I would be speaking about the retest of the level here, but we haven't had that bigger breakout yet. Maybe we do. from CPI today, and we have a big drop. Of course, we'll speak about that tomorrow in tomorrow's stream. But for now, that's kind of what I'm interested in with the US indices. So yeah, very, very bearish on the indices. And yeah, I expect more downside, to be honest. Yeah, silver is more bullish than gold, or at least at the moment it is more bullish than gold. I'm keeping a close eye on silver, but I need a more confident breakout of resistance before I do really look to buy silver. Because essentially my thinking with silver is that, okay, if we break through this level here, well, where's the next big level? It's the high over there. So a break of that level probably would take us back to 35, which is that high. So I'm essentially waiting for a clean break and retest opportunity for silver, potentially to take up the highs first, pull back, retest, give me a nice entry, and then hey presto, that could be a nice trade to take back into the highs. So that's really what I'm looking at from a swing bias from silver. It's not quite clear yet. The breakout, it looks as if we're breaking to the upside, but I wouldn't say it's clear cut. So that's why I'm waiting for a bit more development before I do look for any entries myself. But yeah, my expectation for silver is a push back to the high. And you're right, silver is looking more bullish than gold right now. Gold's still kind of trapped in that range. If gold can break the high there, then probably we are going to see gold break to 29.55 and create some new highs. But gold's not quite there yet. Gold is not quite there yet. No problem, Ben. Okay, same idea. Nice. Yeah, it's not looking too hot for the indices right now. It does look pretty bearish to me. And of course, if the indices are looking bearish, then you can probably expect more of the same for Bitcoin, which is probably a good idea of looking for a bit of a pullback there for BTC as well, Ben. Because if the indices do have a bit of a pullback as well, come back to retest some of those levels, you probably will see Bitcoin make a similar move as well. Perhaps go and test your 90K level, and that could be a nice place to short from, along with the indices too. Anyway, let's go through some of the yen pairs. So I went through dollar yen just previously. In terms of euro yen, that's at a very interesting level. Again, I'm pretty much bearish across all the yen pairs. I'm not looking to buy any of them, to be honest. I'll go for the yen basket as well and share my bias on that one, but I'm expecting more upside for the yen basket, which means I'm expecting more strength for the yen, which of course means downside for the yen pairs. But yeah, for this one, essentially, we've come back from a major level of support. So I can't really look to short euro yen when we were at support. Now that we've moved away, now I can be looking to short it, because my trade idea now is to short it back into the level and possibly catch the breakout if things go very well. But you can see we've been forming these major highs, lower highs. We've got one over there, big push down, second high there, big push down. Perhaps we're about to form a third one for another big push down. And that's the move I'm looking to try and capitalize on. So that's why I said euro yen possibly could give me a trade maybe in the next 24 hours pretty much, or even to maybe even 12 hours later today potentially. But we're coming to a really nice area where a short does look pretty good. Of course, we've been pretty bullish here and a strong push last week, bit of a correction. Euro's been pretty strong as well, so I have to be a bit careful. But if I can see some strong rejection here, perhaps a nice double top, that'll be enough to get me into a trade. Entries in that area, stops above the high, and could be looking at a pretty nice swing back into the low. Then, similar to my Aussie TGF position, I'll leave some positions to run if things look good, and perhaps target some lower levels, because I do expect to see a pretty big drop. I'm still looking at this as a massive head and shoulder pattern. So if that's the case, there's a pretty big move to be had there for euro yen. But for now, let's see if you can actually respect the trend line. If you start breaking through that area, it does become a little bit awkward, but I would still be short bias. It's just the next available or the next decent area for a short, maybe all the way back at the high here. It'll be an aggressive trade, but the risk reward makes sense. So if things look good, I will still take it. But yeah, if we break through the trend line and break through those highs, then 166.5 will be the next kind of sensible level for a short. But yeah, this is really my expectation for the market for a sell. So keeping a close eye on that for euro yen. In terms of some of the other yen pairs, so CAD yen, again, particularly bearish on this one, but recently we've actually seen some new lows for this one actually. As we can see, we've actually created new lows past this point. So CAD yen has actually done the job in terms of what I was expecting price to do. which is take out the wick low from that drop in July/August last year. That's what I've been looking for a lot of the yen pairs to do. Euro yen hasn't quite done that yet, which we're just looking at. This is the wick low I'm expecting price to take out. As you can see, we just missed it. New Zealand yen has just missed it as well. I believe, what has it taken out? Yeah, just missed it, but I expect to take it out. Pound yen's nowhere near it, so that one's got a while to wait. Pound yen, I'm expecting this low to be taken out. Dollar yen, nowhere near as well. This is the low I'm expecting price to take out as well, or at least come back and test the support level, but I do expect that wick to be taken out. Which other yen pair? Aussie yen, expecting that one to take out the wick low too. Again, not too far away. And of course, you've got your yen baskets, which I'm expecting to take out the wick high, because of course this is in the opposite direction. And yeah, that's pretty far away, but that is the direction I'm expecting the yen pairs to head towards. So going over to CAD yen's done that job. It's taken out the wick low. So now I'm expecting a bit of retracement for CAD yen. We've got some bearish structure in place on the daily chart. Push, pullback, push. So naturally looking for another pullback. I have spoken about this area here as a nice place for a short. Retesting the prior low. That could be something to take into consideration. CAD yen has been so corrective as well here on the 4-hour chart as well. You can see how corrective we've been. The fact that we've taken out a major swing low and done it correctively is normally a recipe for upside. So I think there's a strong chance we do see a bit of a move here for CAD yen. And naturally, because CAD has been so weak, it's probably it's probably time for CAD to see some strength as well, which could help fund this move to the upside. So yeah, possibly could see a bit of a retracement there for CAD yen too. And I think 106 would be a nice place to short. Judging how we get there and how we react, of course, I wouldn't just look to short just because we're there, but if things look good, it could be a nice another little high forming, just like we did over here, over there, and possibly over there again. And another continuation. So CAD yen, something to keep an eye on, but I don't see that being a trade for at least another week, most likely. Aussie yen and New Zealand yen. These have seen some nice momentum, to be honest, because of course Aussie and New Zealand, those particular currencies have been more weak than euro and pound. Not CAD though, but they'd be more weak than them. So they've actually seen some nice momentum and not too far away from the wick lows. So for Aussie yen, I'm looking for another pullback for this one. There's two areas which we can consider: the support here or the support up here. I'm looking at for some shorts. If I drop to the 4-hour chart, we do have a lovely trend line running through the market. I'm looking to see if we can get another test of the trend line for a third attempt. So we've got one over there, second over there. Looking to see if we can get a third to perhaps retest that level. Maybe it might wick into the one slightly above, but more or less come into one of those areas, short it, and of course, at least take it back to where we came from, which is that support level. Then if things look good, maybe leave some positions to run back into the wick low. But yeah, the way I see it for Aussie yen, I'm still very bearish on this one too. It does look like the yen pairs are retracing right now. If I quickly have a look at the yen basket, that's looking pretty bearish this morning. As we can see, looking pretty bearish there. But the way I see it is that the yen is just coming down to find support before pushing back up again. I'm looking at a couple situations for this one. Of course, at the moment, there is a lot of resistance, which is now going to be turned support, which price is coming back into right now. If we can bounce here, then we might not see much of a pullback there for the yen, because we might just find support here and potentially turn around. Of course, all of this resistance is going to be flipped to support. Or if we do see a slightly deeper pullback, then if I do drop to the 4-hour chart, there are some levels down here we could be looking at. I do think there's a trend line running through the market, which is holding up pretty well. I mean, it would be nice to see something like this as well, perhaps tag the trend line and still hold that support level. That would be a nice trade idea there for the yen basket, which could invite some shorts on Aussie yen and perhaps New Zealand yen as well. New Zealand yen, I'm still looking to see if we can get the retest of this trend line and the retest of the high there, which lines up pretty well with the support down the left too. So nice double top there. Could be a really nice trade. and perhaps we go and take out the wick low. We came so close to doing it. I highly doubt price is just going to reverse without taking out that wick low. There'll be a lot of liquidity underneath there. So I do expect us to go and take that out pretty soon. So very bearish on New Zealand yen too. And as long as we can maintain those lower highs, I do really like the shorts. And in terms of CHF JPY as well, pretty bearish on this one. But again, this one is respecting support pretty well at the moment. So not interested in shorting CHF JPY just yet, unless we do push up and form potentially another lower high, just like we've done here, done there. Perhaps we do it a third time and get the sell. So that's kind of what I'm interested there for CHF JPY. Or we break support, then look for some pullbacks underneath. And then, yeah, looking for a short on that behalf. But at the moment, we're at support. If you're looking to buy, it's actually not a bad time. I'm not bullish on CHF JPY, so I wouldn't be looking to buy it myself. But yeah, since we failed to break for that level on multiple occasions, probably are going to get a bit of a push to the upside here for Swiss yen. But yeah, that's about it for the yen pairs. Very bearish as a whole. Going to keep a close eye on that yen basket to see how we react with that level and that trend line, if we can hold it or not. And a close eye on euro yen as well, because I'm looking to short as we have approached that trend line. Of course, at the moment, still pretty bullish, but things can turn around quickly. So I have to keep a close eye on it. But if things look good here, nice development, do you think we can get a nice short back into 155? And that could be a really nice swing trade. So yeah, pretty bearish on euro yen. Kudos, no, I'm not Ethiopian. I do get that a lot though, but I'm not Ethiopian. Eastream, okay, pound CAD we'll take a look at as well. We try re-enter a trade in case if you got stopped out due to early entry, i.e. direction is right, but you entered early and you stopped out. Yes, I would. Again, you have to separate the opportunity from the trade, because you could have an opportunity. For example, I'm looking to short euro yen right now. I could get stopped out, but doesn't mean that the market isn't going down. You know, stop loss doesn't indicate market direction. It indicates where you put your stop loss. That's what your stop loss indicates. Your stop loss doesn't indicate whether the market's going to go down or up or not. It just indicates where you put your stop loss, and you can get stopped out and the market is still moving in your direction. A lot of people who have very tight stop losses will take frequent losses. But of course, their idea is that they're trying to maximize their risk to reward. So if they do catch a winner, it's normally a very big winner, because their stop loss is very tight, so they can have a bigger position size for that position. So yeah, your stop loss doesn't dictate market direction. It just dictates where you put your stop loss. And it dictates if your trade loses or not, basically. So if you do get a re-entry for a trade and the opportunity itself is still valid, as in price hasn't done something that means you're no longer expecting that move to happen. So for example, if I'm expecting price to hold support and turn around, that opportunity stays valid until that support is broken. So I could take potentially 10 losses, but if the level is still respected, then the trade idea is still valid. Of course, if you're taking 10 losses, then there's something wrong with your entries and your stop loss placement, because if the level is still valid, you shouldn't be taking 10 losses really for that position. Even if you're trying to really refine things, it's unnecessary. So if the opportunity is still valid, like I said, if you're expecting support to hold and price to turn around, if that support is still holding, then yeah, the trade is still valid. So if you get a re-entry for that position, you should be looking to take it, because if your expectation was the market to hold the support, then why would you not take the trade if it's still holding support? So yeah, always look to take re-entries. Sometimes it can be a little bit disheartening to take a loss and then try and take a trade afterwards, because you might be a little bit cautious now. You're just taking a loss. You don't want to take another loss for the same trade idea. So there is that part to play emotionally. But in terms of just looking at the charts and keeping things as simple as it should be, if the opportunity is still valid, you should be looking to take the trade. And if you're taking a lot of losses, 3, 4, 5, 6 losses for the same trade idea, then there's of course something wrong with your trade management and where you're putting your stop losses and your entries, because it's very unnecessary to take that many losses if the trade is still valid. So yeah, so yeah, um, always looking to re-enter if the opportunity is still there. Of course, if the support level is broken, then of course I wouldn't re-enter until we're back above support and things look good again. Anyway, in terms of pound CAD for eStream, we'll take a look at that. So yeah, pound CAD very, very bullish. So again, it's difficult to say what's the next move for pound CAD. I mean, I'm expecting to retrace, but where from, I have no idea. I'm looking to the left. There is no kind of sufficient area. I mean, generally speaking, this is like a big area of supply. So at some point, I do expect price to respect this area and see a bit of retracement. I'm not going to move in a straight line forever. But where from specifically, that's the different question. There's no kind of level which I'm looking at least in the lower time frames, which I can base a trade from. We haven't been in this area since 2016, I think it was, or 15. It's been a while. So it's difficult to gauge exactly where we're going to sell off from. So I'm expecting retracement from pound CAD, but in terms of shorting from where, I don't really have a level to short from. So in this case, I'll let the market do its thing. If we had a bit more information, levels to base from, and a bit more structure in our direction, then there might be some nice shorts to take, especially when the market's very stretched like it is right now. But there's nothing stopping us seeing another 100 pip move to the upside for pound CAD before it does retrace. And that'll do a good job at stopping out a lot of people along the way as well. So yeah, pound CAD, I'm expecting it to retrace. I do like the buys, however, which is an opportunity I mentioned at the start of the week. I said I like the buys here, but we've kind of moved pretty far away from that. So I'm not too sure that'll be an opportunity, at least for this week anyway. I think that'll be a nice trade to take on the retest of that level. We've had price respect the level on a few occasions, 1, 2, 3, 4 there. So it's definitely a level which the market's paid a lot of attention to. So should we get back to that zone, I do think there's a good chance we do hold. But of course, we're very, very far away. So it's going to be a while for us to get back there. But yeah, keeping a close eye on that level, and hopefully some buys could present to us shortly afterwards. But yeah, pound CAD's very bullish, so naturally just looking for a pullback. John, what is up? Hope you're good. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Hope you're well. Remember, there's interest news. Yes, good point. Let me have a look at the calendar. There is interest rates for CAD as well. Of course, we've got the CPI for USD as well. So it's probably not the best time to be trading dollar CAD. With USD news and CAD news, we've got CPI for USD at, it's 12:30, isn't it? Oh yeah, because the clocks went back in the US. I thought it was 1:30, so that would have thrown me off completely. I'm glad I checked. Because of course normally the time is 1:30 for the news, but I forgot the US clocks went back. We haven't gone back yet. I think we go back on Sunday, or was it forward? One of the ways. But yeah, we've got CPI at 12:30, so that's about in an hour's time. And then we've got Bank of Canada at 1:45. Rates are expected to drop for CAD, so that could be more weakness for CAD. We shall see. So yeah, probably not the best time to be trading dollar CAD, but I'm gonna see how my position gets going. I'm still lost in the relative safe space, so I'll let the market do its thing. But yeah, that is definitely a good point to note out. There's a lot of news this afternoon. Hey, what's up, Holy One? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Welcome. What you been looking at in the markets recently? Got any positions open or looking to take any? Got any on the watch list? In terms of my watch list, well, there's quite a few on there, but there's quite a few that probably won't set up this week because of some big moves we've had. But in terms of something that could present itself, I think Euro yen's at the top of the list here because it's just generally at my area. So Euro yen's probably the most important pair for me right now. Of course, I'm trading dollar CAD. I've still got my position on the Aussie CHF, but this is the trade I'm looking to see if I can get into. So Euro yen's the most important right now, and essentially all I'm looking for is a lower high in that area. So going to keep a close eye on this one. Of course, at the moment things are looking pretty bullish here. The yen basket is dropping pretty hard, so we'll see if I actually do get an entry for this one. But it's in a nice area, so just waiting to see if I can get some entries. Other than that, I'm keeping a close eye on dollar yen. I like shorts for dollar yen as well, but of course, this one needs to retrace a little bit more before I do get excited. I'm looking around the 151 area to see if I can continue this trend here to the downside. That looks like a nice place for a short. It might take us a couple of days to get there or even longer, but that is essentially my idea there for dollar yen. Any other yen pairs I'm looking at? Yes, Aussie yen I do like as well. This one again might take a day for us to get there or two, but more or less looking at shorts around 94.5. Nice double top of the high here, possibly, and some shorts around that area look pretty good. Expecting us to eventually take out the wick low there, so that's the direction I'm looking to trade in. And if I can catch the lower high, that would be pretty great as well. So I like Aussie yen. New Zealand yen looks good. It's kind of a similar trade to Aussie yen, but I'm probably prefer Aussie yen just based on risk to reward as well. It's a little bit more uh, tight for space here for New Zealand yen because the targets I have would be the wick low there, and we're not too far away. You probably still get a nice 1 to 2 potentially, which is still a decent trade, but Aussie yen could potentially offer me a lot more. So I'd rather trade that one. And again, they're very similar pairs anyway, so they probably both make the same move. So I'm going to take the trade of the one that has a bit more juice to it. Okay, going back to Ethiopia next month. Okay, you're not going with her. Currently in Aussie, New Zealand sell, and Aussie dollar buy. Okay, nice. I haven't really been looking much at Aussie, New Zealand dollar, to be honest. Aussie USD, Aussie USD. Yeah, for saying it incorrectly. Aussie US dollar. Yeah, I'm pretty bullish for that one as well. Don't really have a setup just yet for that one, but I'm looking at a big move. I'm pretty bearish with USD across everything. So I'm looking to short USD across pretty much every other currency pair, every other currency. So yeah, but I need a bigger pullback for USD first. Okay. Fair play, kids keeping you down in the UK, avoiding stopping you from getting some sun, some vitamin D. Although it has been a bit sunnier in the UK recently, hopefully I can come back because it's gone a bit cloudy again. But yeah, I'm pretty bullish on Aussie dollar and Aussie New Zealand dollar. I haven't actually looked at that much. Let me have a take a look at that pair. I have to say you're a brave man looking to trade this one because it is very corrective. Yeah, we've had some nice rejection from the highs, so I do wonder if Aussie New Zealand dollars formed a bit of a top here on the higher time frames, possibly getting ready for a big sell. That could be the case. Especially with that triple top there. So I can see potentially more downside, potentially back to this level here. What are your targets for the Aussie New Zealand dollar trade? I wouldn't guess you would look at that low there, 1.095. Well, it depends if you're looking for a bigger swing trade or it's an intraday trade. But since that's where we got our previous rejection to, probably could expect another move back there. Of course, we've got some support there. So we need to break through that. If that can break, then that'll probably give you the green light into that low. But yeah, I haven't actually looked to trade this one in a while. Okay, you're going to the wick low. Okay. So if we drop to the hourly chart, Okay, so you're going to the wick low here, I presume. Um, what's up, Sonny? Uh, Hey, appreciate it, my man. Appreciate it. Very happy to hear this for you. No problem, man. Great to hear, though. Great to hear. Again, that's the whole point of the streams. To give information. Of course, you know, I'm of course sharing my trading, what I'm looking at, what I'm looking to do in the markets, if I'm trading anything. But of course, if you're looking to learn and find out more information about different trading styles, especially the way I trade as well, I definitely want to make sure I can kind of help with that and share information that can, of course, help your trading journeys. If that's the case, if you're finding a lot of information here, finding it valuable, progressing in your journey, then of course that's music to my ears. Then, and I'm very happy to hear that, Sonny. Keep it up, my man. Keep it up. Um, no, I don't use the COT data. Kudos. I don't use the COT data. Um, Again, I never really looked into too much, to be honest. I've used it, I've dabbled with it here and there, but never anything seriously in terms of incorporating it in my trading plan. I've never really done that before. But again, there's so many different pieces of information you can get regarding the market to use or not to use. Just because I don't use the COT data doesn't mean you shouldn't use it, because there are other traders who use it and swear by it, just like other indicators and other pieces of information, sentiment analysis as well. So yeah, I've just never really looked to use it. 09971. Okay, that's pretty much where that wick low is. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we're not too far away. The market's been pretty consistent with the lower highs. So as long as we don't go and break structure, we probably will go and push to that low there. So we probably will expect to see a nice push. But yeah, I just don't like the pair. I mean, yeah, I don't like the pair. No, that's a bit too harsh. I I'm not very excited by the pair. That's the way I want to rephrase it, because I do trade it sometimes. Because the way I see it, any market can give you a good trade. It might be a market that doesn't really give you a lot of good trades, but randomly there might be a good setup there to trade. So you don't want to have the mentality of kind of just Xing off a whole market, unless if it's for good reason and you're just not finding a lot of consistency with it, then of course, fair enough. But the way I see it, any market can give you a good trade, especially as a swing trader when you're working on the higher time frames as well. Any market can give you a good trade, and sometimes the Aussie New Zealand dollar does give me a good position. So I do keep an eye on it. But yeah, since it's been kind of a bit more range bound in here, I haven't really been looking to trade it, so I've stayed away. But perhaps we get some momentum, break through the lows a little bit, then maybe there could be a nice trend back into the low here. That might excite me, but probably not, because the yen pairs look a lot better, the USD pairs look a lot better, so I'd rather focus there. But hey, things can change pretty quickly, so I'll keep an eye out. Same thing for euro pound, although euro pound, I can see a nice setup for this one. Yeah, judging on how price reacts at that high there, I do think there could be a really nice short for euro pound and possibly a big swing to the low again. Euro's been pretty bullish. Maybe it's time to see a bit of weakness there for euro, or at least a bit of a retracement a little bit, and hopefully a big move down. But yeah, in terms of my watch list, like I said, euro yen shorts, dollar yen shorts, a lot of USD pairs I'm looking to buy, so euro USD buys as well. Just need a pullback for that one. I'm looking for some buys around 1.077 or 1.06 down here. Pound USD, I'm looking for some longs on as well. So 1.27 down there, I'm looking to buy from. Of course, dollar CAD, I'm ready shorting that one as well. So again, more USD weakness. Dollar CHF, I like the shorts for this one too, actually. I don't think I've gone through dollar CHF yet. But essentially for dollar CHF, I'm looking for another retest of this area. which also lines up pretty well with resistance on the left there. But essentially looking to kind of try and catch the next lower high, 1, 2, 3, and perhaps a fourth, and then another sell. Some nice trend line confluence here, connecting the highs. That's kind of where I'm looking to try and take a trade and hopefully take it back into the low there, which is at 0.875. So overall, pretty bearish here for dollar CHF and dollar as a whole. So any opportunity I see really with USD, I'm just looking to short it. Of course, I do need to see some pullbacks pretty much for all the currency pairs before I do get any opportunities, but that's what I'm waiting for. And yeah, Aussie dollar, not quite there yet for me, so it's not on the watch list. New Zealand dollar, same thing as well. Then silver, I'm keeping a close eye. There could be some nice buys for this one pretty soon. If we do manage to see, oh, that is not the correct one. There we go. If I do see a break above that resistance, then I will be pretty bullish, looking for a push back to the high. AN at the minute, not so liquid. I have a one lot and it's not adding up too much. Lol, I'm 80, but yeah, it's that's one of the reasons why people don't like trading that pair, because it doesn't have a lot of pips in it, and it doesn't move anywhere fast. Sometimes it does, but most of the time it's pretty flat, and there's not a lot of pips there as well. So you need to get the ball rolling to get some decent returns. But yeah, it's a bit flat right now. But then again, your targets are not too far. You're not expecting too much from the market. You're just looking for another swing back to support, which is a reasonable expectation. And you don't necessarily have to have a market that's moving a lot to see that happen as well. But yeah, it is a bit flat. I'm going to go through the CAD pairs next, because I haven't actually looked at the CAD pairs yet. And then I'll go through some of the crosses as well. I haven't looked at the crosses. I haven't looked at the CHF pairs either. Again, any other requests, let me know. Put it down in the chat if you do want me to take a look at a certain pair. And of course, if there's a particular time frame as well, let me know as well. Okay, so let's take a look at well, we had a look at pound CAD, euro CAD, similar vibe as well. So of course, okay, so we're seeing some downside there for euro CAD. So again, it's definitely needed. It's been so bullish, so I think rightly so. Euro and CAD as well. Euro's been so bullish, CAD's been so weak, so it's caused a humongous move here for Euro CAD. So I do think it's time to see some retracement here. And judging momentum on the 4-hour chart, possibly it's time. However, again, we're not necessarily trading as an area which I would short from directly. In general, yes, I think it's an area where price is going to form high and come back down. So I do expect to see some downside pretty soon. But as for where specifically, that's where it's difficult, because price can always move another 50 pips against you. Unless you're shorting from a level or a particular area of confluence, then of course you can base a refined stop loss from that. But in these areas where we're kind of trading in no man's land, haven't been in this area for a while, you're expecting price to drop, but you kind of want price to kind of maybe form some structure and base some trades like that. At least you can refine a stop loss and know that, okay, you got some bearish structure in your favor. But yeah, EuroCAD expecting to see some downside. We have broken through this level of resistance. Perhaps we could eventually see a retest of that level. Then that'll be a nice place for a buy. Of course, we're very far away from that, so it's going to take a while, but that's kind of the region I'm expecting price to push into. Same thing for pound CAD as well. Looking for price to come back into this level here, just above 1.81. That will be a nice place for a retracement too. The market's very stretched. Again, I do expect to see a bit of retracement now for pound CAD. Just very, very difficult to try and anticipate those shorts when kind of trading in the middle of nowhere. Can't really look to the left and base much of a trade. Haven't been here since, I think, 2015 or 2016, so yeah, pretty much a decade. I expect the market to retrace anyway, but just difficult to say where from and when as well. In terms of Aussie CAD and New Zealand CAD, I've been pretty bearish on these ones. Of course, they haven't really seen much downside because of CAD being so weak, but I would say it's a pretty interesting point to make that they haven't seen much upside as well. CAD's been so weak. You've seen what's happened with Euro CAD and Pound CAD, but Aussie CAD has barely budged to the upside. It's barely budged. You wouldn't really know that CAD's been very weak. Of course, Aussie has been weak for it to stay in this place as well. Same thing for New Zealand CAD, hasn't really budged too much. So I think as soon as CAD sees some strength, these guys might start really falling pretty hard. But we'll see. We got the CAD interest rates today as well. But anyway, in terms of Aussie CAD, I am still pretty bearish on this one. If I go to the weekly chart, again, overall, I'm still looking for another swing back into support down here. We've got some lower highs, essentially. I'm expecting price to push back down into support. This looks like it's a correction, which has finally met its end. So I do expect to see price roll over. So that's my thinking with Aussie CAD. And if I drop to the 4-hour chart, actually no, daily chart, I'm essentially looking for a high here to form, which should be hanging on for dear life and possibly a big swing. Again, it's a bit of a corrective trade, so it's difficult to find really good entries. But I would suggest if you can get stop loss above the high there, you're in an okay place. It's not like you're right at the high or right at the low, but you're stop loss in the relatively safe space. And the risk reward looks pretty good back into the low there as well. So I think that could be a nice opportunity to look at there for Aussie CAD. New Zealand CAD, similar situation as well. Price is really struggling to break through resistance. I think you can get a decent reaction there. This possibly could be another low high for a big short. If you can get a nice stop loss above the high there. Again, maybe some nice strong close in the 4-hour chart. That could be a nice entry. And some targets back at the low makes a load of sense there as well. So pretty bearish on New Zealand CAD and Aussie CAD. We've broken out these ascending channels a while ago, and I've been looking for us to come back to the lows. In fact, it looks like New Zealand CAD is actually retesting the underside of that trend line there. Perhaps that does add a bit of confidence to the trade, but the most important thing is that we're respecting resistance. So as long as we don't break through that level, shorts look good. If you do see price pull away, yeah, I have to reanalyze and see what's going to happen next. Dark on GJ, nice entry confirmation, 192.7. Okay, fingers crossed. Nice. So you've entered the position, I'm guessing. Seeing some rejection down the 5. Okay, yeah. Price is back at the high there. Nice bearish engulfing. I like the wicks there as well. Not bad at all. So yeah, nice entry. Nice entry, Darkshon. You do have your 193 area not far above you. So I suppose if that one doesn't work out, you'll probably look for another re-entry up there. But yeah, I think you're in a well-positioned area for a short. If price is going to respect the high, then I would expect the high there, to, the candlestick entry there to hold and possibly see a nice reaction there as well. So I like what I'm seeing. I like what I'm seeing from Pound Yen in the lower time frames. Really nice place for a short. As you can stop losses above the candlestick highs there as well. So yeah, if price is going to hold that level, you're in a position to take full advantage of that. I'm Jamaican. Sunny Gold and BTC, if you have to choose only one pair for a lifetime to trade, which of them will you choose and why? Interesting question. Gold and BTC. I don't know. Probably gold. Because if you're talking about trading and not investing, yeah, I'll probably choose gold just because there's more data, there's more insurance in the asset class. Gold, it's tangible, it's real, it's not going anywhere. Of course, I do have high hopes for Bitcoin in the future as well, but I just know that gold is not going anywhere, and it's going to be a lot more stable than BTC as well. Just generally, because gold's always going to be a rare commodity. Um, and yeah, in terms of price action, I know there's a lot of participants that look to buy and sell gold in real life and over the market as well. So I don't think liquidity will ever be a problem with gold as well. And price action is not too bad as well. I do trade gold already. I don't really trade Bitcoin, so that'll be taking some adjustment. But yeah, I'll probably choose gold for those reasons. But that's for trading, of course. Yeah, today we do have Bank of Canada interest rate. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Rates are expected to drop from 3 to 2.75. So we'll see how that affects the market. Okay, you speak a little. Nice. So, any concern I have is the upcoming news. Yeah, yeah. I mean, USD news, of course, affects pretty much all currencies. So there's always going to be a little bit of spillage onto pound yen. Of course, it's not a direct effect because it's USD news. Then we got Canadian news afterwards. So pound and yen news, I'm not seeing any of that at all. But of course, CPI can affect pretty much all markets. So it's going to be an interesting one for pound yen, especially in the 5 minute chart, because you'll feel it a little bit more there. But again, really, there is no right or wrong for that scenario. You can hold the trade through. Potentially, might head in your direction, and happy days. Potentially, might go against you as well. I think as long as you're managing your risk, that's the most important thing. If your risk is managed, you're not betting the farm on the trade. If it does go south, you know how much you're risking, how much you're losing. If that's okay, if you're happy with that, then I think it's okay, to be honest. If it was like a Bank of England interest rate, or yen interest rate, or yen news or pound news, then maybe it's probably best not to take the trade. But again, I'll leave that up to you. Um, like I said, there's no right or wrong, because you can make the right decision and lose money. You can make the wrong decision and make money. So it's just about whatever you want to be consistent with. Um, Live for CPI now. I'm in the stream at 12. I'll be live again tomorrow though, and I've got Nick's stream as well in the afternoon. USD before you leave. Okay, let me take a look at USD USD. Okay. Ooh, would you look at that? Looking pretty bullish. Okay, so USD. Okay, we've definitely broken through that support level there. So yeah, I think the buys are good now for USD, at least from a shorter term perspective. Nothing too crazy, but to me, this is a very, very valuable level because price has tested numerous occasions, 1, 2, 3, 4, and briefly has resistance as well. So it's clearly an area which price has focused a lot of attention at. So the fact that we had a strong break of it and it didn't give us a successful continuation and prices back above it with a lot of momentum as well. The odds of price holding support there, I think, is pretty high, especially if you can pull back for a retest, because this is essentially your fake out. And now you're looking for price to essentially come back and retest and then continue with these higher lows here as well. So I think the buys, they look pretty good for USDZAR back above support. If you can come back, retest the 18.3, I think that'd be a really nice place for a buy, and possibly look to trade it back to resistance around 18.58 or back to the high here to 18.72, depending on how aggressive you want to be with targets. But I think that would be a nice trade there. as well there for USDR. So yeah, I really like the buys here. Really confident break to the downside, and now price is breaking back above to the upside. So a retest there will look good, and you've got some nice targets there to aim for as well. Possibly that could be the next swing low in relation to these lows here. 1, 2, 3, possibly 4, and maybe a big swing does form. But at least if you can base a trade from that level, you're in a nice place for a long. You're in a nice place, place for a long, which you can look to hold on to. So yeah, use these are. I do have a bullish bias at least for that kind of that range there. But yeah, DXY, I'm still pretty bearish on. Still looking to sell this one. Just waiting for some pullbacks. Really, I can see we're becoming a little bit tired here. Very, very corrective. Looking to the left as well. It looks like price is respecting support here. So I wonder if it's time now for the dollar to see some upside, perhaps come back and retest 104.5. I do have this level up here, which I'm also looking for a retest of, which would be a nice place for a short. In fact, that would be my preferred area for a short, a retest of 105.5. But we have to wait and see. We have to wait and see if price will have a big a pullback that big enough. But yeah, I'm looking for us to push all the way back down to this level here and get to 101. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. No problem, Lighton. Happy to help. Mark Stalling is a good time to leave before news violates. Violates, I like that word. Um, Again, it's up to you how you view the news, especially what time frame you're trading on as well. A lot of people, I would say, trading on the hourly time frame and below, you're just a bit more vulnerable to the news because you're going to have bigger lot sizes in relation to your stop loss placement, and you have smaller stop losses. So a big move from the news will cause potentially a lot of slippage, and of course that is not really what you're after. So if you're trying to avoid that, the best way to avoid that is to have not any positions open. So if you don't want to if you don't want to leave yourself at risk to that possibility, don't trade through the news, especially any big USD news, because that's going to affect most currencies, especially if you're trading USD as well. If you don't mind the added risk of potentially that happening, which again, just like some news will go against you, some news will go for you. It will give with one hand, take with the other. The only downside is if you're especially in the lower time frames, like probably like 1 minute chart, where a widening of spread will probably actually just take you out the trade, even if it is in your direction. So then I think it's best just to stay away. But if you're like on the hourly chart or 30-minute chart, you can get away with the news. I wouldn't enter just before the news though. For example, if the CPI is about to come out right now, I wouldn't look to enter right now. If I could enter a few hours before, I wouldn't mind that, or preferably the day before, that would be the best. But a few hours before isn't the worst thing in the world because you might already be in a bit of profit at that stage. If you are in drawdown and prices near your stop loss, you can always just close the trade early if you want to. But again, there's no right or wrong. It's just managing risk, really. In my shoes, because I'm trading the 4-hour chart, I've got a wider stop loss, so I'm not very too particular about the news. I wouldn't really want to enter just before. So, like if NFP is coming out or CPI, even me, I wouldn't enter just before. But a few hours before, a day before, I don't mind holding through the news. View on CPI, I'm very bearish on USD, but I'm expecting some retracement. I'm only looking to short the dollar, so I'm hoping USD can gain some strength out of somewhere. Bit of pinch of salt because I'm still shorting dollar CAD, but I'm looking for some upside for USD for some retracement. From Hades. Entering purposes just before the news is nothing but FOMO. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I mean, some people do have methods and strategies around the news, and I get that. But for the average trader who's just trading it just to trade is, of course, looking for that extra momentum and just trying to look for a quick buck, really. And again, the funny thing with news is sometimes you will get that quick buck, you get into the trade and it goes in your direction. You're like, wow, this is great. Do that enough times, I can almost guarantee you will give back all your profits at some stage. You'll be lucky, but the luck will eventually run out. You want to do things which you can repeat on a measured basis with measured risk and can give you exponential profits. News trying to get in before is always something that can always bite you. And yeah, sometimes it'll be for you, sometimes it'll be against you. It's best just to kind of avoid that in general, especially on the lower time frames. If you're trading on the daily chart, for example, and your stop loss is 150 pips, you know, you got a lot more protection there. So you're not worried too much about the news. But as you suggested there, 15-minute chart, 5-minute chart, 1-minute chart, you got to kind of keep one eye on your trade there because it could go south pretty quickly. But anyway, guys, we have come to the end of the stream. If you have found it useful, please be sure to smash the like button. It does really help out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And of course, hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. If you haven't done already, check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. Link in the description to that. You can join and discuss with other traders, including myself. I share ideas there, so do other people. If you're looking to share your own ideas, get thoughts, get different opinions, feel free to join the discussions. You can also find out more information about Elevating Traders, updates there as well. So if you're interested, go check it out. Link in the description. And also at the top of the chat, you can't miss it. But guys, I really appreciate you tuning into another stream. I hope everyone has a great day. Of course, watch out for news in about half an hour's time. And then 1 hour and 45 minutes, we've got the CAD news, so watch out for that. I will be live again tomorrow and Friday, of course, every weekday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. So hopefully I'll catch all of you guys there. But I appreciate coming on. Have a great day, guys, and I'll see you all in the next one.